So, I want to talk about something called psychological egoism. And if you don't know what that is or what that means, it's basically like every act is a self serving act. So, like, say you would donate to charity, right? That is because, in this theory, would be because it made you feel good, right? I mean, it can be as deep rooted into your psyche as something like parenting. And I'll use the same example I used in my short that I did about this, which is like for me as a parent, I'm a parent of two. If one of my kids, let's say the youngest one, if she ran out in front, like started running towards the road and something terrible happened and something bad happened to her and or something, I don't even know if I could continue living because of how hard that would hit me. Um, and I think a lot of people would share the same sentiment. So it would be like that. It's like everything, no matter what, is a self-serving like problem. You know what I mean? Or a self-serving thing. We'll say. So like some of the examples is like you would risk your life to save someone because you would feel unbearable guilt if you didn't. Now, this is super interesting to me because guilt is a spectrum, obviously. like, because, like, let's say this, and I'm not just saying this because this is my ex that I'm talking about and I despise her with every ounce of my being, but, like, she very seldomly showed any sign of any guilt. She could do and say some of the most messed up things and she would feel no remorse or anything. Well, she had some different mental health diagnosis as well, so I'm sure that played into it. So I feel like some people would feel more guilt about a situation like that than others. For me, if I saw someone like drowning in a pond or something like that, I could not turn around and walk the other way and just act like it didn't happen and then like not feel any guilt. Like it would kill me, man. And there's examples of this everywhere. I saw a video one time of a guy who called the police on himself like 20 years after he had done something to someone else. I'll just say, I don't know how much I can say on these sites that this will go up on, but we'll just say that person is no longer alive. So he called the police. The police show up, and he's like, "Arrest me! I did this thing." Right? He felt the guilt had overcome him, and he couldn't take it anymore. So, I just feel like there's so many different intricate levels to stuff like this, and that's what I love about psychology. One of the examples here is you help a friend because you value the friendship and want to keep it. So that is it. So basically, the gist of it is that I think you get the point. I think there is a good case to be made that this is an actual thing, okay? And I've been sitting here thinking even about myself. I'm a very giving person. When I have it, I love to give. And I will acknowledge that it makes me feel super good to give. And I love seeing the smile on their face and everything. I love the fact that it makes me walk away feeling some kind of like dopamine hit or something from helping people. And so even that could be considered a self-serving act. So at the end of the day, it could all wrap around to that. And there are counter arguments for this. Let me go down. I call this my research pad, but it's actually just my phone. So on my research pad, it says that like some of the criticisms of this, it says many philosophers and psychologists disagree with psychological egoism because it can be impossible to test or disprove it. Another one is acting because you want to help someone isn't necessarily the same as acting for your own benefit. Wanting another person to be well can itself be a genuinely other-focused motive. I don't know about that, though. Like, obviously, I'm not a psychologist or whatever, but why, if, like, for instance, say you're a psychopath. Like, there's somebody, I cannot remember his name or I'd shout him out right now, but he's a psychopath and he does videos and he talks about how like he doesn't feel remorse and he doesn't even really think about it very much or whatever. So why would he want to help somebody, right? That's the question I have. is like, what if you're a psychopath, you know? Like, but for the average person on just like a base level of like their brain working as what people would consider to be normal, you know, why would you help somebody unless it made you feel good in the end? Like, that's a good question. What is your answer to that? Like, why would you? You know, is it because if it doesn't have anything to do with how you think or how you feel, why would you do that? I don't know. I'm struggling to see the criticisms as a greater, you know, the points under it. This says people, one of the criticisms says people sometimes make extreme sacrifices with little or no apparent benefit to themselves. But even that can go deeper, like psychologically. Obviously, if it makes you feel good about it, then that's a reason to do it, right? It says no apparent, but it's like, what does that mean necessarily, you know? So I just think this is fascinating stuff, and it's different than something called ethical egoism. Ethical egoism says people sometimes act in self-interest, and ethical egoism says people should act in self-interest. So don't get those conflicted or confused. Confused or, yeah. So the topic pairs really well with my interests, apparently. So psychological egoism doesn't say selfishness is good or bad. It simply claims that's how humans actually behave. And under that, my friends, I would have to say I kind of see that I'm leaning really heavily on, yes, that is how humans behave. Just from my own experiences, thinking about how I feel about things, whatnot, and whatnot, you know. I'm super curious as to what you guys think about this, though. I can do longer videos or shorter videos either way. Whatever you guys want, tell me. I can go deeper into these subjects and stuff like that. Right now, my channel's super small. Not many people are watching these, especially the longer form content. You can barely get people to pay attention longer than a few seconds nowadays, so I'll just kind of leave it there. What do you think, to wrap it up? I am leaning heavily on, I do think that this is mainly how people are, and because I do think that most people are selfish, and I do think that most people are self-serving, that's just going to kind of, you know, my cynicism or whatever, and all of my other stuff that I've already gone over on the channel, kind of leads me to believe. But I would love to hear your side of it. Do you disagree? Do you agree with me? I'm not dead set on the fact that that's how I feel. Like, I wouldn't say 100%, but I'm saying pretty heavily leaning toward it. So yeah. If you would do me a favor, though, as I'm becoming more of a YouTuber type minded person, I now understand why people say like and subscribe after every single freaking video, because it does help a lot. Like, you help put it in the algorithm, and you just, the like itself goes so far. So like, if you can't, you know, donate money, that is just a free, easy way to do it. And ever since I've figured that out, I've been liking a lot more and stuff like that. So yeah, like and subscribe, please. And if you're on like Facebook, if this ends up on Facebook or something, then, you know, follow and like, if you would. It helps. I'm trying to grow this. I think talking about my interests and stuff like that is just like my dream to just put all of my focus into and put it into something, and to have other people who might agree or disagree is an awesome thing that the internet brings. And that's going to bring me to probably my next video or the one after that about how the internet and psychology would work together, and I find that to be extremely interesting. So stay tuned. Like and subscribe, please. Love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you later on the next one.